Good morning, everyone. Welcome to join us in our vaccine sessions. And this week again is me, Chu, and this is Dr. Ben. We will give you another vaccine session for this week. So, Dr. Ben, have you heard about one of the diseases quite famous a few weeks back happening around Penang?
Yes, I think I first read it when it came out in the newspapers. There was a few incidents of JE cases. So that's actually what is the Japanese encephalitis.
Oh, Japanese encephalitis. What is Japanese encephalitis?
All right. Just for all your for the audience today. Before that, again, good morning. Japanese encephalitis is actually a disease. It's spread by mosquito. We call it a mosquito-borne diseases. So what actually it is pretty much what it means is spread by mosquito. Okay. It's caused by a virus known as Japanese encephalitis virus. And what does this JE virus does is it infects your brain, causes your brain to get inflammation. So that's exactly what it is.
那什么是日本脑膜炎呢？就是其实日本脑膜炎是有一种日本脑膜炎病毒引发的疾病，它是通过蚊子作为媒介，从猪或者是一些野鸟传染到人的身上，在感染者身上，它主要攻击的器官是我们的人脑，从而导致一些并发症。So how is the Japanese encephalitis transmitted?
Sure, the JE is transmitted. It's just like a cycle. So, for example, an infected mosquito comes along. It usually will go with the uninfected pigs, uninfected wild birds, and once this mosquito bite them, this particular mosquito will pass the virus to this pigs and wild birds. So when these pigs and wild birds are infected, right, another mosquito also may come. So this mosquito, when they bite them, they become infected. And this infected mosquito, nowadays our population is getting quite near to the jungles, to the wildlife. So this mosquito will come in contact with human beings, and when they bite the human beings or us, that's how the virus is being transmitted.
那日本脑膜炎是怎样感染的呢？其实正如刚才我所说，它是通过蚊子作为媒介而传染的。就当一个蚊子它叮咬了感染上日本脑膜炎的猪群或者是野生的鸟类，它就会将这种病毒带在身上，从而传染到下一个被叮咬的人。就比如说，如果你住在附近，它叮咬了你，你就会有几率染上日本脑膜炎的疾病。而且这种疾病呢，就像骨痛热症或者是肌孔症一样，它们通过蚊子也可以从人之间传染，所以它会形成一个自然的循环，再将疾病传给更多的人。So which area or region are at high risk for Japanese encephalitis?
Yeah, true. That is the reason why I put this slide. This one is actually taken from the WHO. So all the countries in Asia have sending data to the WHO to inform the WHO the incidence rate or the cases that's detected in their own country. And as you can see, it's actually spread across Southeast Asia, and we are smack in the middle of it. Malaysia is in the middle. It happens mainly in tropical regions. And one of the things you can see is spread northward, even up until the Russian border. They have cases detected there. And you see towards the south, it actually even affect up to the northern region of the Australian part.
The affected region actually is quite wide.
Quite huge, yeah.
Okay, so 那日本哪一个地区是属于日本脑膜炎的高风险区？其实我们从那个地图上我们可以看见，其实在东南亚地区是属于它的中心。其实东南亚地区就是我们的热带地区国家，但是除了热带地区国家，其实它上至中国靠近苏联靠近俄罗斯的边界，或者是东至巴基斯坦，南至澳洲，都有它的病例的报告。所以其实它从而可以看出它涉及的地方是非常非常的广的。If I'm infected with Japanese encephalitis? What are the signs and symptoms of it?
Okay, usually a lot of people have Japanese encephalitis. They may present without symptoms. They're symptom free. They don't feel anything at all. And usually even they have is very mild. Just probably a mild fever or a headache. But the thing we're worried about is when they are in the critical illness, that means they have this JE, but they are in a severe state. So when in a severe state, they will have very high fever. They will have muscle ache, abdominal pain, nausea. And one of the things that it comes with it together is because it affects the brain, as we all can tell. When it affects the brain, what happens is you have seizure, you have fits non-stop, and you have severe headache and neck stiffness. Those are the one that will develop critical. And one we are worried is out of 250 cases of JE, one will usually develop very serious illness.
So basically, most of the time they are just like usual viral fever.
Correct.
Things become complicated when it start to affect our brain, is it?
Yes, exactly.
那如果我们感染日本脑膜炎后会有什么症状呢？其实，在大部分的人感染者里，通常他的症状呢，通常都是非常轻微的，又或者是他的症状是可有可无的。但在250个人里，会有一个人会产生非常非常严重的并发症，就是当这种病毒开始攻击我们的脑细胞时，你就会产生一些头疼、颈项疼痛、呕吐，或者比较严重的就是癫痫症，就我们常说的发羊癫。就当我们出现了这种症状之后，都属于非常严重的一种情况。So what are the complications of Japanese encephalitis?
The complication is actually quite serious, Jill. We have a 30% mortality rate. What it means is 1 in 3 people will actually die from it.
That's quite high.
If let's say they're in a severe illness. Then out of those that survive, 20 to 30% will suffer quite a bad permanent damage. That means their intellectual, their behavioral will be permanently damaged. They will be bad. And one of the things we call a neurological sequelae. What it means is after they have this infection, right, because the brain is damaged by the infection, they have paralysis. That means that certain parts will be weak, they are unable to move again. And one of the things that usually that is a bit scary for us doctors, they have recurrent seizure, or we call it fits. They will fits for unknown, for upstate, they will fits unstoppable. It just comes and goes. And lastly, they will have ability to speak again.
那日本脑膜炎会有什么的并发症呢？其实日本脑膜炎的致死率是非常非常的高，它可以高达30%，就是说，如果3个感染者之中会有导致一个人死亡，就算在那些存活下来的感染者里，会有20到30%的人会有一些精神系统上的损伤，就比如说他们会有语言或者是某部分精神功能上的障碍、瘫痪，或更严重的话会经常性的发生癫痫症。所以就是因为病毒的感染导致我们脑功能部分的损伤，其实它的影响是永久性的，无法完全痊愈的。所以从而知，我们可以看得出它的并发症是非常非常的严重。So, is there any treatment for the Japanese encephalitis?
A bit of bad news there. Unfortunately, at this moment in time, there's no curative treatment. I mean, there's no cure to it. But what do we do as doctors is those mild and not so serious cases is symptomatic treatment. That means a fever, we give you like things like Panadol. If you have vomiting, abdominal pain, we give you anti-vomiting drugs. But in those severe cases, we will give you supportive treatment management. That means, let's say you'll be admitted into ICU for close observation. Your recurrent seizure and fits will give you anti-epileptic or call it anti-seizure drugs. And also we make sure that we'll support as much as your body organs or function as much as we can.
那日本脑膜炎会有什么治疗的方法呢？其实很不幸的，我们到现在为止都没有一个很有效的治疗日本脑膜炎的方法。通常如果染上了这种 疾病的话，我们都是通过支持性治疗或者是症状上的减缓来治疗这种病毒。So how do we protect ourselves since it's not curable?
Well, against prevention is better than cure. As my previous slide says, the culprit for it is a mosquito.
Mhm.
So what we do is we try to prevent mosquito bite. So number one, you can use insect repellent if you want. So you're going jungle trek, going to the, what do you call it, jungle trekking. You're going to the rural areas. Use appropriate clothing like long sleeve shirts, stuff like that to prevent mosquito bite. So one of the things that actually the recommendation for babies and toddlers. Of course, baby skins are very sensitive. So how do we actually prevent them from getting bites? Because some parents may not agree on putting insect repellent on them and worry. So one of the things I can advise the public is probably your baby's clothing, you can use the insect repellent putting on the clothing. So it doesn't come in touch to your baby's skin. At least you'll prevent mosquito bites. So the other thing lastly is your home area. Try to make it clean to prevent mosquito breeding. So like also at the same time prevent mosquito from coming to your house. You can buy mosquito net, stuff like that.
Okay.
And lastly, there's a vaccine available. You can get yourself vaccinated to protect yourself from Japanese encephalitis.
那我们该如何预防日本脑膜炎呢？其实，正如刚才我们所说，蚊子是一个主要的传播媒介。如果我们隔绝了蚊子的叮咬的话，我们可以很有效的制止那个日本脑膜炎病毒的感染。就比如说，我们可以用一些防蚊的，如果你将会去一个比较高风险的地方，就比如说森林，你可以用一些防蚊的喷雾，又或者是将防蚊喷雾喷在你的衣物上，从而减少被叮咬的几率。还有的话，就正如我们刚才所说的，因为它都是通过蚊子作为媒介而传染的。它预防的方法就好像我们每次卫生部所提倡如何防止骨痛热症或者是肌孔症的方法一样，我们要保持我们家居的安全，我们要确保我们家居没有一些地方会有积水，从而让蚊子滋生。所以从居家的清洁开始，我们可以很有效的将感染力减得最低。除此之外，我们还有一个方法就是通过疫苗的注射来减少感染的几率。So what is the Japanese encephalitis vaccine? Can you tell more about this?
All right. Japanese encephalitis vaccine, JE vaccine, is actually you have part of the JE vaccine to be injected to us, so our body can recognize them, and then before it attacks us, our immune system will protect us from it. So there's actually two types. One of it is inactivated JE virus. What it means is there's a part of the virus they take it out is inactivated to allow our human body to recognize them. So when it's injected to us, we are able to recognize the JE virus before it attacks us. The other type is a live attenuated. What it means is a weakened form of the virus. But in Malaysia, it's actually we use live attenuated virus. So it protects us from Japanese encephalitis virus. It's safe and it's effective.
所以其实刚才我们有说过那个日本脑膜炎的疫苗，其实在市场上我们有不同种类的疫苗日本脑膜炎疫苗通常被分为就是灭活性疫苗，就是说我们将一个那个病毒的某部分再将它放入人体中来产生抗体。其实这几种疫苗都是非常的安全，也非常非常的有效。那日本is there any side effect of this kind of vaccine or this kind of vaccine?
Like any medication as well, there's always side effects. But for this vaccine, usually it's very mild. Actually, in fact, most people that take it, they don't have much side effects. Probably, I would say about 10% of them may have some side effects, and usually it's mild. For example, they may have pain or tenderness over the injection site, and some of them also I would say, very uncommon. They may have a bit of fever and a bit of muscle ache. And any serious allergic reaction are very rare for JE vaccine.
I can see all the side effects are actually very common for all kind of vaccine.
All kind of vaccine, yes, exactly.
OK. 那日本脑膜炎疫苗会有什么后遗症呢？其实 它的后遗症就像平常我们会注射的疫苗一样，当你注射疫苗过后，你可能会产生一些在注射的地方会产生一些红肿，可能少数人会产生一些短期的发烧，又或者是肌肉的疼痛。严重的后遗症是非常非常的罕见的。So who is recommended to take the Japanese encephalitis vaccine?
Uh, that is the reason why I share the second or third slide when I talk about the region that has JE cases. So number one, those are actually living the area where JE occurrence. What that means is that particular area have cases detected of JE or there's a pandemic or an outbreak. Yes, you should take a JE vaccine to protect yourself. And then second one, traveling to a country where JE occurs. Again, that is only you're traveling to a country that's more than 1 month. For example, if you're traveling, let's say, to Thailand, and Thailand, they have some JE occur there, but if you are traveling more than 1 month, you'll be in Thailand, then you take it. If let's say for leisure traveling, less than 1 week, all that, you don't really have to take it. And thirdly, those business traveler, or I say those that travels a lot, and if frequent travel to countries where JE occurs, it's like you, let's say for example, you travel around Southeast Asia a lot, yes, then you may need to actually protect yourself. Lastly, those that are actually visiting rural areas, for example, you are going jungle trekking, you are going to mountain climbing, where there's a risk of mosquito bites, those people should actually take JE vaccine to protect themselves as well.
那我们会建议给予那我们会谁应该注射sorry，那谁应该注射日本脑膜炎的疫苗呢？其实我们都会建议，如果你是住在日本脑膜炎疫苗的高风险区，我们都会建议你接受疫苗的注射。除此之外，如果你经常出国或出游到一些经常会发生日本脑膜炎病例的国家呢，我们也会建议你接受疫苗的注射。而且如果你是将在那个地方逗留超过一个月的话，我们也会建议你接受注射。除此之外，如果你去的地方是比如是乡间的地区，又或者是丛林、森林的地区，如果因为在这些地区你会有非常高的风险被蚊子叮咬，所以如果你将会去这些地区，我们也建议你接受疫苗的注射。So how's Japanese Japanese encephalitis vaccines given?
Again, just now I told you there's a few types of vaccine. It depends on the type of vaccine, but in general, it's actually approved for use for even babies that's 9 months and above. It's safe to use. So in general, it's a 2-dose series. It's actually given 4 weeks apart. So that is how it's given.
Okay. So 日本脑膜炎的注射疗程会是怎样的呢？其实因为我们在市场上有不同种类的疫苗注射，但普遍上呢都会是2次的注射疗程，就是当你注射第1次过后，第二次的注射是在第4到第8个星期过后，而且如果新生儿是想要接受注射的话，都必须在9个月大过后。Then, is there any contraindication of taking the Japanese encephalitis vaccine?
Yes, I will explain a bit. There's a few groups of people that shouldn't take JE vaccine. Number one, of course, anyone that have history or previous allergy to JE vaccine, then you shouldn't take it. Pregnant mothers, because they use live attenuated vaccine of wicked virus, pregnant mothers are not advised to take it. But I put an asterisk there because example, if let's say you are a pregnant mother, you need to travel to a place that have a high risk or there's a JE outbreak. So in those cases, pregnant mothers may be advised to take it because the benefit outweighs the risk. So yes, in those circumstances, pregnant mothers should take it as well. And lastly, if anyone is feeling unwell, they're sick, then they may have to wait until they're fully recovered, then only they can take a vaccine.
那在什么情况之下我们不适合接受日本脑膜炎的疫苗注射呢？比如说，如果你之前接受过日本脑膜炎的疫苗，而且产生过度的敏感反应的话，你就不适合再接受下一次的疫苗注射。还有的话，如果你是孕妇，我们也不会建议你接受疫苗注射。但是如果你是孕妇，但你将会前往一个非常非常高风险的 日本脑膜炎的地区，我们还是会建议你接受疫苗的注射。但是这种情况的话，我们会建议你咨询你的妇产科医生或者是你的主治医生来获得更详细的资料。OK，还有的话呢，就像平常的疫苗注射一样，如果你在疫苗注射期间产生一些身体的不适，就比如说发烧、上呼吸道感染的话，你就必须等到你完全康复了才可以接受疫苗的注射。So that's end of our section.
Mhm.
So shall we go to the question and answers?
Sure, sure.
Okay, let's see what's the first question. What should I do if I think a family member might have Japanese encephalitis? Okay.
I think if anyone you suspect your family members, the only thing I can say, just go to your nearest hospital. Let the physician assess your family member. That's the best way.
如果我觉得家人可能感染上了日本脑膜炎，我应该怎么做呢？我们会强烈的建议你立刻到医院就医。OK， 这是我们强烈建议。Okay, I'm traveling to Cambodia for a week. Should I get the Japanese encephalitis vaccine?
Okay, this one is the answer to this question is a no if you're traveling there just for 1 week. But if you are going to Cambodia, let's say for jungle trekking, you are going to the rural areas, and at the moment I do not know what is the latest cases detected there. But if you're going to the province or city there that has cases detected for JE, then yes, you need to take the JE vaccine. But if you are just going to the capital city of Cambodia, enjoy yourself for 1 week, then there's no need for you to take a JE vaccine.
我将会到柬埔寨出差，我需要注射日本脑膜炎的疫苗吗？OK， 其实如果你到柬埔寨到的地方如果是市区或者是比较城市的地区的话，而且它只是1个星期的话，我们不建议接受疫苗的注射。如果你逗留的期限超过1个月，又或者你会经常到一些比较偏远的地方，就比如说乡间、森林里，又或者你到的地方，近期内出现日本脑膜炎的病例的话，我们还是会建议你接受疫苗的注射。So what's the third question? Why Japanese encephalitis vaccine is not a routine recommended vaccine?
Oh, interesting question. Well, it's not recommended in every country. The current recommendation is those that area or have high cases or high risk of J vaccine, they only will advise people to take it. Number two, also cost effective wise, because there's no point for you to vaccinate the whole population when the cases are not detected or very low. And thirdly, is because this vaccine, as far as the studies are concerned, it lasts probably for 1 to 2 years. So that's the reason why it's not a routine recommended vaccine.
为什么日本脑膜炎疫苗不会经常被建议注射呢？就比如说，我们之前有一些讨论讲一些疾病，我们会通过强制性的疫苗注射来减少感染的机会。那为什么日本脑膜炎没有被强制性的注射呢？其实它有它的原因，就是虽然它涉及的地方是非常非常的广，但是它的感染性不高，而且出现的案例其实是非常非常的低，相比之下是非常非常的低，所以我们不会建议让全部的民众强制性的接受疫苗的注射。除此之外，有别于其他的疫苗注射，日本脑膜炎的疫苗注射呢，在注射过后，它的有效期限是大概1至2年而已。在2年过后呢，如果你还是会到高风险区呢，你还是需要接受第2次或第3次的疫苗注射。所以在这种情况下，因为经济的考量，我们还是不会建议让全部的群众接受疫苗的注射。So can I still get Japanese encephalitis after I get vaccinated?
Okay, the vaccine works very well. I mean, it's about 95% effective. But for unknown reason, there's a small percentage, these people, their human body just does not interact or does not respond to the vaccine. And for those individuals, yes, you may get Japanese encephalitis because the vaccine just doesn't work on a small 5% percentage or 3% percentage of the population.
如果我已经接受了日本脑膜炎疫苗的注射，我还会染上日本脑膜炎吗？其实正如我们刚才所说的，其实日本脑膜炎病毒是非常非常的有效，它可以减少95%的感染的几率。但是我们俗语所说的445绝对，有部分非常非常少数的人他会对于这种疫苗的注射，它产生不了抗体，从而无法给予它很好的保护，所以它还是会有一个大概有5%的人会有这种机会感染上了日本脑膜炎。I was told mosquito bite prevention is as good as taking vaccine. Is it still necessary for me to take the JE vaccine?
All right, prevention is a prevention. If you ask me, regardless how good is your prevention, there's always a chance that a mosquito also may get in and bite you as well. We never know how effective it is. But if you are really traveling to a place that's high risk or living in a place that have high cases of JE cases detected, then I would actually recommend you do need a JE vaccine.
接下来问题是我听说只要预防蚊子的叮咬就没有必要注射疫苗，在这种情况下我还需要注射疫苗吗？其实我们也知道蚊子是无所不在的，我们无法100%的隔制蚊子的叮咬，所以如果你生活在或者是将会前往非常高风险区，我们就算你有足够的防护，我们还是会建议你接受疫苗的注射。So the last question. Does domestic pets or animal carries JE virus?
Your domestic pets, animals, they do not carry the virus. Again, it's only those pigs and wild birds, and usually they are more of the in the outskirts, not pets. Yeah.
OK，那我们国内的宠物或者是动物会携带日本脑膜炎的病毒吗？答案是不会的。其实日本脑膜炎的病毒呢，它的寄宿主都是猪群，又或者是野生的鸟类，所以在我们在家的宠物，比如猫狗，都不会携带这一种病毒。So okay, that's end our session. Thank you, Dr. Ben.
Thank you everyone for joining this lecture again. Thank you.